dearest friends. How are you? The people have spoken and I deliver. Upir, Upirka, Brukolak, Vampire. These are all the names we know, and the ones we don't know in the Western world. How have we got to know vampires in the Western world? I suppose it has been through the figure of Dracula, the fictional character created by Bram Stoker. That is what we are going to explore in this video. Count Dracula was the winner of the poll I published in the community section of my channel. So here we go. I am going to see the character through Marxism, cultural materialism, and the psychological approaches. Still, the best part is to come at the end. So, stay tuned. Born in Dublin in 1847, Bram Stoker had a difficult childhood due to an illness. But as a young adult, thanks to his strong will, he overcame all this and became the university athlete. Our piece of interest, Dracula, was first published in 1897, and because of its success, it was released as a paperback in the 1900s. None of Stoker's other pieces were as successful as Dracula. The author died in 1912. His inspiration for the Count? Vlad Tepesh. Let's see who he was. We are now going to study a very brief biography of Vlad III, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler. I should clarify that impaling an enemy meant introducing a blunt stick into the person's body and holding the stick upright. Then gravity would make the body move downwards until the tip of the stick came out through the abdomen or shoulder. A very cruel and slow death, not to mention painful. He was ruler of Wallachia between 1448 and his death in 1476 or 77. He is a national hero in Romania. Dracul means dragon in medieval Romanian. This name was adopted by Vlad's father in honor of the Order of the Dragons, a chivalric aristocratic order created to defend the cross. His treatment of enemies earned him a reputation in other countries in Europe, initiating the legends of vampirism around him. So we shall start by exploring the Count's behavior from the point of view of cultural materialism and new historicism. There is a curious thing about him. He belonged to the superstructure in his homeland, but he desired to settle in England in order not to be noticed. Here I am noble, I am boyar, the common people know me and I am master. But a stranger in a strange land, he is no one, men know him not. And to know not is to care not for. I am content if I am like the rest, so that no man stops if he sees me, or pause in his speaking if he hear my words, to say, "Ha ha, a stranger!" Maybe it would be easier for him to achieve his goals if he passes unnoticed. The Count proves to be very interested in getting the women in the story. He even confesses what he wants to do. My revenge is just begun. I spread it over centuries and time is on my side. Your girls that you all love are mine already, and through them you and others shall yet be mine. My creatures, to do my bidding and to be my jackals when I want to feed. Mina was a witness of the attack on Lucy. There was undoubtedly something, long and black, bending over the half-reclining white figure. I called in fright, "Lucy! Lucy!" and something raised a head, and from where I was, I could see a white face and red, gleaming eyes. So, he knows that somehow, by enslaving women, his plan will work out. We get to know how the other characters perceive the foreign culture when we read how Jonathan feels in the castle. And then away for home, away to the quickest and nearest train, away from this cursed spot, from this cursed land where the devil and his children still walk with earthly feet. The big question is, do hegemonic countries perceive evil as coming only from peripheral countries? Is there no evil anywhere else? Should we talk about the fin de siècle England, well known by its inequality and hypocrisy as to sexual behavior? This is food for thought. There is a possibility that fangs have been used by Bram Stoker as a phallic symbol. The Count's biting of both male and female victims alike, reflecting as a mirror the Count's need to hold dominion over the whole population of Europe. Contagion, under this perspective, may refer to venereal diseases, again spread by the conqueror on his raids. If we put the Jungian model of the psyche in a nutshell, we can say that the shadow is a part of the unconscious where all repressed feelings and emotions are sent. It is sort of the rubbish bin of the mind. When the dialogue between conscious and unconscious is interrupted, that which lies in the shadow will overflow and infect the rest of the mind, causing mental illnesses or pathologies. It is worth considering, then, that there is a possibility that the Count's frustration and rage, caused by loss of power or by the way in which his culture is deemed as inferior by the hegemonic cultures, turn awry in his shadow and overflow to the point in which he commits atrocious deeds, such as blunt attack, when he bites Lucy and he kidnaps Jonathan in his castle, keeping him captive; brainwashing, when he controls Mina's mind through telepathy, depriving her of will or reason; and necromancy. As Van Helsing explains, it is an act in which dead bodies are used to foretell the future. Nothing justifies his behavior, though. This video would be incomplete if I didn't mention one of the main tenets of Gothic literature: supernatural powers. Whether we think of Count Dracula as a narcissistic nobleman or as a revengeful alien, we have to admit that he deploys powers no mortal could ever dream of having. Maybe, as Van Helsing explains in the novel, he is assisted by the aid of occult sciences such as alchemy or necromancy, or maybe he is directly assisted by the devil. That we don't know. The result is always the same: abject horror. So let's go and see some of his powers. He has the ability to turn into a dog. He commands people through telepathy. I mentioned this earlier. He is, according to Van Helsing, Nosferatu, or undead. Undead being an oxymoron to explain that which can't be explained. Finally, he has no reflection in mirrors. As we have seen, this fictional character bases its personality on many human traits which belong to the fin de siècle. And to this day and age, why not? If we are to talk about my favorite vampires on the wide screen, I would say Klaus Kinski as Nosferatu and Peter Wilson as Mina Harker in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The first being very raw and animal-like, and the latter, I would say, really my favorite, because she is shown as the evolution of the monster. She has learned to look at her shadow straight in the eye and to use her dark powers not to hurt, but to assist. So, if there are any other favorites of yours, please leave them on the comments below. There I am going to leave my sources for the research I did for this video. And I think it's time for me to disappear. See you soon!